Previously on Sonic Dissected.
No, wrong door! Go back!
Oh my god! What killed me? Oh, mommy!
Luke, come back down. Don't be scared. It's me, your good friend, Captain Theory.
Ah! No! Stay back!
Bad response.
Well, I guess that's enough for spin-off games for now. We'll wait till Luke calms down. Then it's time to look at the big main games of Sage 2020.
And now part 2 of Sage 2020.
And welcome back.
Well, a little game like that won't keep me down for long.
Yeah, only 6 months or so.
I was talking to the audience.
Oh, well, while I was hiding, taking a short break, I heard some Sonic news. It seems Sega dropped a big hint that Sonic Adventure 3 may be coming. Fans spotted the number 3 on a picture the Sonic Twitter uploaded of Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, this video was written and voiced many months ago and didn't age very well. Rest in peace, all Sonic Adventure Remake and 3 rumors, and all other exciting hints and mysteries from the Sonic Twitter account that all led to nothing. And now the next Sonic game is presented yet again with the intention that it's all mysterious, so we need to crack the code! Yeah, piss off with your mysteries and hints already, they never lead to anything.
Either way, we can spend the time waiting for the next big Sonic game discussing more Sonic fan games. You know what makes fan games particularly interesting to me? Theorizing! Through fan games, we get to explore an endless variety of what-if scenarios. We may have been wondering why Sonic Team never bothered to include complex physics in certain games, why the other characters aren't playable. But through us actually making these games, or playing other people's attempts at doing so, we gain a lot of insight. See the challenges Sonic Team faces that we might have been blind to. And who knows, perhaps by overcoming these challenges through our fan games, we could present the solution to these problems to Sega one day. I mean, not us, we're just a bunch of goofs on the internet, but someone else. Very unlikely, but we already have our own Cinderella story through Sonic Mania now, so who knows? Worst case scenario, Sega won't care, but we'll still have our own awesome fan game to enjoy, even if it isn't official.
Who cares about what's official when the main games are so random and inconsistent anyway?
One thing I found very fascinating I saw in fan games back in 2019 is I've seen many fan games import levels from Sonic Adventure or Heroes into their fan games or into those original games, and it's always fascinating to me to see how slow Adventure Sonic is when going through a Sonic Heroes level. While playing Sonic Adventure itself, he never really feels slow.
It's because of the level design. Sonic Adventure is very rich in level design. There's always platforms to jump on, turns to take, enemies to take down, scenery to observe. While games like Heroes and Unleashed have more stretches of road without anything in particular happening, so he needs to be faster there to compensate.
Yeah, right. So, through these fan games, you can really feel the balance between character abilities and the levels they're in. That's a thing I've been interested in for a very long time, since I feel modern Sonic is messing up that very balance in its own games, where Sonic's abilities and levels he's in aren't really designed in harmony with each other. That's a feeling I get. So it doesn't really matter if Sonic's slow or fast. He has the exact speed he needs to have in Adventure and Unleashed, but then in games like Colors or especially Lost World, I feel there's no harmony between Sonic's abilities and the levels he's in. There's a lot of complaints that Sonic is extremely slow in Lost World, but I don't think a slow Sonic in and on itself is a problem. Put him in the more richer design levels and he works perfectly fine. I'm sure if Lost World Sonic is put in a Sonic Adventure level, he worked like a dream. It's when you put him in these giant empty levels where it takes forever to get anywhere and there's nothing really happening. That's where Sonic's slowness really starts becoming a big issue.
And it's thanks to fan games that we can really explore this, and perhaps even fix it. There are plenty of mods already to fix the physics of many Sonic games.
And we need thousands of them to clean up Sega's mess.
And that's the typical thing people say when seeing those fan games. Yeah, much better than anything Sega does.
To be fair, I've seen other fans hate that sentiment, and I can't blame them. Most fan games are more clumsy and unfinished than even the worst Sonic games.
Yeah, I guess we have to address that first. The rivalry between Sega's official output and the fan games. First of all, we have to remember to be grateful at Sega for letting us do this. Nintendo and Square Enix would have shut down all these fan games in a heartbeat. So hey, credit to Sega where it's due. And obviously the official Sega games have better quality and production values than most fan games. And they better. I mean, it would be really sad if they can't even compete against hobbyists.
Extremely dedicated and talented hobbyists.
I think this whole fan games are better than Sega's games discussion is mostly to do with game design philosophy rather than the actual quality of the games, though. We have a very specific idea what a Sonic game should be like, so that's what we create fan games to achieve. Sonic Team seem to be more interested in innovating graphics and gameplay for graphics and gameplay's sake, with the Sonic brand being attached to their legs like an anchor. I rarely get the idea they're particularly passionate about it or really want to explore the Sonic universe itself.
And not just that. I'm sure Sega, as a business, is more concerned about the money, chasing the latest trends and fashions to be represented, than just sticking the Sonic brand to the results as a crutch.
Oh, right, yeah, of course. So there's that angle as well. So neither Sonic Team or Sega are particularly interested in making a Sonic game for the sake of being a Sonic game.
All while fan games are searching for the motherlode, the ultimate Sonic game, enhancing the previous games or following a direction they wish Sega did, right?
Hence why, in the end, Sonic Team's games are better in most regards, more professional, easier in the eyes, more solid, made by bigger and more experienced teams, better balanced, and yet I got more hope and interest in fan games as they're actually making the goddamn games that I want, while Sonic Team's just dicking around with some stupid gimmicks. I mean, what's the next trend they're gonna follow? Overwatch? That game's a million years old now. Surprised they never jumped on that bandwagon yet.
They tried, by imitating the in-game store system.
Re-releasing old classics is trendy lately, so I'm expecting the Sonic Adventure remake announcement any day now.
Either way, fan games. Okay, to prevent this video to become another grocery list kind of video like part 1, I want to tackle these games in themes rather than individually this time. So, Luke, if you do the honor, for old time's sake again.
What? Oh, this thing again. Chapter 1. The final destination of the second dimension. Pretentious much?
Let's talk about the 2D games first. Right, so most fan games are demos, right? One zone only?
That's right, giving us a glimpse of what to come and getting feedback before the team commits deeper into their project.
Right, so I played a lot of the demos, and after a while I ran into this problem. A problem of apathy. See, despite a lot of these being very well made, good looking, and perfectly fine, a ton of these are Green Hill Zone levels. And not just in aesthetics, I mean in level design concepts. These physics playgrounds. That's all fun and all, but after playing demos over and over, just going through endless loops and slopes, after a while I started feeling nihilistic about it. What's the point? When you play a full game, I'm on an adventure, I'm going somewhere, saving a princess, moving through an environment, challenges start stacking up, but with endless demos, I'm basically going through the tutorial level over and over and over again, and I lost any ability to care about them. And that's sad, because there's a lot of perfectly good work being done, but I play these demos, and I can't muster up any thought but, yeah, that's another perfectly fine working Green Hill Zone. Good for you. It's like, what's the point of these demos? What are you showing to me? There's no groundbreaking new discoveries or a crazy new concept you're demonstrating. It's stuff I've seen before, and while I have no problem with it, by all means have another fun little Sonic 2 style game, but just have a complete game. Don't have a demo, because I know there's already an engine existing where you can make these levels with relative ease. I mean, I'm sure the fan games had a lot more work put into them than I realized. I never used the engine myself. But still, that's kind of the point, right? With going through the basics again, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be looking at, what I'm supposed to realize I'm supposed to be impressed with. What are you trying to impress me with?
That's not really fair. A lot of these demos do show off new, never-before-seen details. Take Sonic Quantum, for example. It's obvious that a lot of care went into this game by the tiny details. Sonic holds his breath underwater, the bosses become more visibly damaged the more you hit them, incredibly fluid animation. The enemies all have unique designs, even Eggman himself, who looks like a weird mix of classic, modern, and boom Eggman. Plenty of great stuff they can show off.
And have you seen Sonic Galactic? It has a new mole character. It's amazing how he hops onto ceilings, creates a whole new dimension.
Oh yeah, Galactic looks great, plays great, a lot of work put into it. And Sonic Quantum, definitely, very good. Love the little 3D effects in the backgrounds. And yet, after playing it, the only impression I had of them is, here's yet another Green Hill Zone physics engine.
Not all of them use Green Hill Zone. Look at Sonic Genesis Blast. Is that a unique look for a Sonic Zone or what? Perhaps a little too unique. It's sometimes hard to look at aesthetically. But once again, unique design touches I've never seen before. Look how satisfying explosions are with a bright light and slight shaking of the screen. It's too bad the game feels a little unfinished. The boss fight ends by just cutting to black and dropping you in front of the goal, as opposed to having the boss arena being a looping area that ends when the boss disappears. It could have been a contender if it was a little more smooth.
Now, when I say another Green Hill Zone, I'm not just referring to the level theme, although that one popping up over and over is also not helping. I'm talking about the level design style, physics demonstration, a playground. But true, I'm a bit harsh. Indeed, there's quite a few little gimmicks I liked in the demos. I love the palm tree gimmick in Sonic Robo Blast 2D's reimagining. I always thought something like that, hang on a palm leaf and it launching you in the air in the opposite direction, would be cool, and would have been something I'd implant in my 3D levels if I knew how. Not to mention the boss fights are all a spectacle in these demos, and perhaps the main attraction in most of these games. But we'll get to boss fights later. But here's the thing, with a 3D game, we haven't found the ultimate Sonic yet. All the 3D games we had so far, official or not, have still been very faulty. So with those, I'm a little more interested in seeing physics engines and tests, because it's unexplored territory. But with the 2D games, we know what a good 2D Sonic game should be like, so I don't care as much about a demonstration here. And sure, you can say, hey, it's just a game, it's meant to be fun, and not some bigger demonstration of the discovery of a new gameplay masterpiece, it's just for fun. Sure, I agree. Problem is, only for a fun game, it eventually needs to have a tighter point, specific challenges, level design, adventure, story, the feeling you're going somewhere, doing something, overcoming challenges. Without those, it starts to feel empty, and as much as I love a fun Green Hill Zone level at the start, if that's all I get over and over and over and over again, it starts breaking me. You know, it's like eating chocolate. It's great, I love it, but eat too much over and over without a break or alternatives, you just can't taste it anymore. It feels like just you're shoving butter in your face out of some kind of impulse.
Oh, I bet you're very familiar with that situation. Know what I mean?
Yes. Shut up, Luke.
I barely get to talk and he tells me to shut up.
They're just demos showing off.
Showing off what? Look, we captured Sonic 2's physics again? Oh, wow, great, again. Look, don't get me wrong, when the one zone demo is something like Sonic DVD or most Mania mods, I don't mind them. I like them, in fact, since they're not really demos for a full game yet to come, but they're just a brand new zone for an already completed game, so they tend to have more creative environments, more interesting level designs, and actual purpose to them. That's fun. It's just a more playground show-off zones I'm kind of tired of.
Sonic DVD was interesting in how it made an entire level centering around those boats from Sonic Mania. I thought that was fun.
Awesome art style, too. Mid-90s Sonic Team had the best art style with this very weird color usage, through Ricer Knights particularly. And I love this. This is a great recreation of that alien art style. Props for him for that.
As for you complaining that all 2D Sonic games are an imitation of Sonic 2, I have to bring up games like Sonic Auxiliary. That's more of a take on Sonic Rush.
Yeah, I guess that one is more unique. Fair enough, more to test if Sonic Rush can be recreated, which I haven't seen many tests of yet. So, as for how well this game does, I'll bring it up later in a different topic. Anyway, Beyond the Shadows Ladder from last time had a unique twist. Still, most fan games follow up on Sonic 2 and 3. In fact, a lot of them take Sonic games that used to have a unique gameplay style, like Sonic 3D Blast, the Game Gear games, or Sonic Robo Blast, which then irritates me by turning them into Green Hill Zone emulators. Like, I kind of wanted the more Game Gear style game with a more tighter economic level design. That would have been a nice break from all the endless loops and slopes.
I sympathize with the game designers. They aren't paid, the most they get out of it is praise on the internet, so after a year of hard work, they want some feedback. It's easy for you to whip up a quick cartoon, but with a game, it's harder to get quick standalone product done. Hence the demos. Look, I think you play too many games. Trying to play all of Sage's games was a bad idea. It's clearly overwhelming you.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, the favorite of the 2D games for me was the Sonic 2 Master System remake for being finished and imitating the Game Gear Master System game style, which, as I implied just now, has been very appreciative for me now with its more tight and economic level design, which I really appreciated since it gives it a more specific goal-oriented, like challenge-oriented level design rather than just slopes and physics for the sake of them. But yeah, it's pretty good. It takes the Sega, the Game Gear Master System style gameplay of the 8-bit Sonic games and kind of adds an extra little bit of speed, a little bit of the physics of the modern games, but it's a nice mix between the two, and I really appreciate that.
I'm sure you also appreciated them removing the Green Hill Zone level from Sonic 2 and replacing it with Oil Ocean. That was a neat surprise.
And while Green Hill does eventually appear, it's all the way at the end. I also like how they make the time of the day change, as if the level's playing double duty and representing the end credit sequence of the original 8-bit Sonic 2 as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. It plays great, looks great. I love it. And funny enough, there was another 8-bit Sonic 2 recreation this year as well, a hand-drawn version. Weird coincidence. It's not quite as finished, only a demo this time yet again, but for some reason I kind of get a kick out of the rough graphics. I don't know, there's something about those graphics that kind of appeal to me. It's kind of fun. I kind of like a rough weirdness. So at least the hand-drawn one is very rough. I kind of like that. I like sketch stuff. Or this one, Sonic 2.5. I mean, it's a different style of graphic, but now it's gonna kind of get a kick out of it. It's weird Neo Geo Sonic colors and that Game Boy Color kind of style. The color uses is great. Bit of a shallow reason to like something, but there you go. And I suppose I have to bring up Sonic Frenzy Adventure for being the second, and as far as I know, only other 2D Sonic game in Sage 2020 to actually being complete. To a degree. It's a little rough though.
Apparently it was made before the Sonic Worlds engine was created. That's why it's not as smooth as most classic Sonic fan games.
Yeah, I'll talk about it again when we discuss boss fights. But yeah, Frenzy Adventure, I appreciate it a lot. Boss fights were very impressive. Anyway, about time we jump to the next topic, I think. Luke.
What? Oh, Chapter 2. Physically impossible level design.
Wow, 3D games are coming a long way in fan games. They're very complex now, being able to recreate complex rolling and pinball physics and all feeling like advanced versions of the Adventure games, Boost games. Before I get to my larger point, what are your guys' thoughts on the physics-based engines? Sonic GT, Infinite Engine, Red Ridge, the big 3D showstoppers?
Impressive. Most impressive. Sega has its work cut out for them for the next game. They have serious competition.
Now for Sonic Infinity Engine Plus. Where do I even start? It has so much potential. I would legitimately want to make a game out of this if I knew how. Practically everything about it is taking a core concept from modern Sonic games and greatly expanding upon it, opening up so many opportunities for amazing level design.
Oh, really?
Combat alone has so many options, the most fascinating to me being the homing launch, where Sonic blasts an enemy in the air and follows up. This alone creates all kinds of possibilities, like hiding secret paths in high places or going devil may cry on some tough enemy. The homing chain is a huge improvement on the idea of the focused homing attack from Lost World. The Tomahawk Spike may just be my favorite mechanic ever added to a Sonic game. It is so fun and so rewarding and opens up so many possibilities. The Meteor Crash is just plain badass. Homing Wrecker takes some getting used to, but it's a great option for tougher enemies. The Perch, as the game says, is fun. It fits Sonic's attitude and that's all it does.
The game does make you feel like a badass, yeah. The fighting is a lot less cumbersome than it was in Heroes.
And all of that is just the combat section. The boost mechanic has also been expanded upon. The longer you boost, the faster you go, and the less boost meter you use, thus encouraging level design that can accommodate extended bursts of speeds if the player is skilled enough to keep it up.
In the 2 levels I've played so far, I haven't seen many places in the level design where boosting a lot is very helpful, though.
Perhaps future levels will be more designed around boosting. Anyway, there's also predetermined pathing for things like loops and 2D sections, both of which are done spectacularly.
Thank goodness. Loops are difficult in most fan games.
I didn't really enjoy the loops in the Infinite Engine. In the Metropolis demo I played, I always skipped the damn loops. They were a pain to go through. Although maybe that was just that level. And why 2D sections again? Why?
Well, this being just a game engine, I suppose they just want to add more options for the people who want to make their own levels.
It's because precision platforming is harder to do in 3D gameplay, while 2D gameplay limits how far ahead you can see, giving you less time to react when you're blasting through at full speed. Games like Sonic Unleashed switch back and forth so that your brain knows to expect either intense speed or precise jumps. Plus, that's not even mentioning that there's other playable characters. There's also Wisps, which I don't care for, but are there for anyone who wants them.
If your 3D game requires 2D gameplay to make the levels work, wouldn't it just mean your core game engine is broken? Hey, I made this car racing game, but you shouldn't touch any cars for the most part of the game, otherwise it won't work. Right. Still, the 2 levels I played barely had 2D sections, so whatever, I shouldn't complain anyway. It's just an option. Nevertheless, yeah, very impressive engine. I love it. Metropolis looks amazing. It's so great, it's an actual city this time. You can actually enjoy the backgrounds. Like, that always bothered me in Sonic Heroes. You get this incredible, impressive look at the city, but then most of the level just takes place in boring corridors indoors. Here, you get the full scope. It's amazing. And Seaside Hill Palace, man. Ocean Palace, whatever. I didn't know it was even possible to impress me with Seaside Hill and how bored I am of that damn level, but they make Ocean Palace genuinely look like a palace with courtyards and palace halls. It's incredible.
Yeah, you have to hand it to them. To take something as overused as Seaside Hill and not only manage to bring new life into it, but to even impress the most vivid of Green Hill Zone haters.
Anyway, I do have concerns. A little bit with the lighting, kind of reminds me of Unleashed, where it's a little too much contrast, where darkness is pitch black and brightness is very bright. Does not make me very happy. Also, Infinite Engine is built like a boost game, yet it has a lot of more precision areas and small spaces where it becomes a bit of a nightmare. I particularly remember a section in a cave where you have to find a switch, and it's a horrible nightmare. Game engine is not really built for small interior locations like this. The wall jumping and boosting and all these fancy moves keep getting in the way of just navigating such an intimate environment. When that pathway is getting smaller, I notice the engine has trouble keeping up too, especially with the loops in Metropolis. And don't get me wrong, I love intimate locations. That's why Sonic Robo Blast 2 is usually my game to go to. Can do a lot more intimate platforming. But yeah, this engine is not built for that sort of thing, so yeah, you need big, broad, open areas. Which brings me to Sonic GT, and that is all about big, giant, broad areas.
And man, Sonic GT is something else. I was a little worried last year. I saw some Let's Plays. People could launch Sonic so high up in the air they could skip huge parts of the levels. But this year the game has its feet more on the ground. And there's even a mini storyline this time. And boss fights. It's starting to shape up.
Whereas Sonic Infinity Engine Plus has potential to be a perfect modern Sonic game, Sonic GT is already shaping up to be an incredible adventure-era Sonic game. I've actually been looking forward to this one for over a year now, and it does not disappoint. The Tony Hawk-esque combo system is a brilliant way to encourage skilled gameplay, but the story...
that freedom. So much freedom. Oh my goodness. We'll play this right after one of the modern Sonic games. That's night and day.
Yeah, these levels are huge. Vast open vistas, a feast for the eyes after Sega's super linear games.
Which unfortunately leads to new problems, perhaps. I wonder, does Sonic GT even still work as a traditional platformer? It's so open and huge, I keep getting lost in what direction I'm supposed to go. There also aren't many, memorable locations, like landmarks. It's endless open valleys and winding pathways that kind of blend in together after a while.
Bloody hell. You're never happy, are you?
It's just, playing Sonic GT makes me wonder if it would work better as just a big open world game, a giant open map with missions to do. Just follow the mission markers, just race around and go to the next objective. As a linear platformer, it's kind of overwhelming me.
It's just a matter of practice. Part of the fun of Sonic games is finding the best routes. Play the level a few times and you start to get into the groove.
Well, yeah, but get knocked out of the groove and you're utterly lost. There's very specific routes you're supposed to take, and if you miss a jump or get hit and knocked off the route, and you fall between the cracks. And I'm not super motivated to replay the level again after I had a headache of being lost for half an hour.
So what do you want anyway?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? That's the question. We want open freedom, and yet not too much freedom. A bit of a Goldilocks situation here. Maybe I'm biased since I'm intently working with Sonic Robo Blast 2 for a while, making my own levels for that, and I like that 3D fan game because it's much more intimate. Despite being relatively fast and having a relative lot of freedom, the levels are easier to comprehend, mostly working as a series of rooms or valleys with a very specific design, very specific challenge, very specific platform area. So my brain has more of a mental map of what's going on. So going to Sonic GT, there's just so much stuff, my brain can't keep up. It's overwhelming, and I just miss a sense of direction, of purpose.
Just like the 2D games you were complaining about. I'm sensing a theme.
I guess so, or maybe I just suck at these games. I have to admit, just controlling Sonic is great. I love the sense of weight and speed and physics he has. It's fun. I just keep getting lost, and even when I'm not lost, the levels kind of feel like I'm just running for the sake of running. I don't know. Kind of like that Sonic Auxiliary you brought up before, that Sonic Rush style game. It's a boost game, but it doesn't seem to be able to do much. I'm just running endlessly, and I'm kind of missing something. Jeez, I'm starting to understand why people hate Sonic Rush Adventure and the Wii version of Sonic Unleashed. Even though I love those, but because they're kind of more simple. But yeah, I'm starting to see their point that these games were kind of like random or empty. It's like, yeah. Well, I might disagree on those specific games. I'm starting to see it in some fan games now. Yeah. Maybe I should study Sonic Bros. Adventure and the Wii version of Unleashed and see what makes it different. Because now I'm kind of curious.
Maybe you got more old, grumpy and tired. Look out, you might hate these games now too.
Yeah, after all these fan games, I weirdly got a sense of nihilism. Just going for endless loops and slopes with no sense of purpose.
Weird, I didn't have that issue. I think you've just been playing too many of these fan games. In hindsight, perhaps we should have assigned each of us to individual games instead of us all tackling whatever looked interesting.
Okay, let's talk about physics. The actual topic I wanted to spend this chapter on. Bit late now. So that's the holy grail fan games are going for, especially the 3D ones. Getting those roll physics or complicated physics in their 3D games. But the Red Ridge fan game. This is a one-level demo. Ignore the graphics, still in progress. Will become a nice-looking desert cliff eventually. But there's this area, and this area specifically made me leave Team Physic. Lose any desire to see a 3D Sonic game with detailed physics. There's this area where you have to get momentum and speed to make a specific jump to escape this pit. And you need to angle Sonic exactly right and get the right speed by using rolling physics and jump exactly on the right spot on the hill to get this very specific angle. Each little element you got wrong will result in you missing the jump, and it's practically turning the game into a flight simulator, basically.
Or you just suck at the game.
Yeah, sure. I don't really have a mind for physics. I don't know, man. I worry this quest for the ultimate physics is making you forget they're still designing a game. Here's some irony. I think when Sonic 06 bombed and Sega decided to burn everything that game stood for to the ground, 3D gameplay, humans, realistic graphics, another element thrown in the trash were the physics. Sonic 06 actually had a lot of complicated physics. I mean, not the rolling physics that classic fans love, but a lot of other stuff. I mean, I was playing that Sonic 06 remake, Project 06, which is incredible, by the way. Very awesome, but not part of Sage, so we're not going to specifically talk about it. Anyway, the snowboard session, even in a remake, it's awkward and clumsy. Instead of Sonic Adventure, where Sonic just hops on a snowboard and you're immediately in a fun minigame racing down the mountain at top speed, pulling off stunts, in 06 it's all complex and realistic with real snowboard physics, and you need to position Sonic correctly and gain enough speed, and if you miss a jump, you get this annoying situation where it takes 5 minutes to get the damn snowboard back uphill, while you desperately fight with all the clutter in the level design to get the damn snowboard back into the right position. Good grief.
Yeah, Sonic 06 is crap. Call the news.
Project 06 actually added a new move where Sonic can kick the snow. He moves much faster and more smoothly around when you lose momentum.
Look, my point isn't just to attack 06 or Project 06 for that matter. The point is, what's better for a Sonic game? A quick, fun, arcade snowboarding minigame? Or turning what should have been a fun little bit of spectacle into a flight simulator nonsense nightmare? Now, of course, with modern Sonic, Sega went too far into the other direction. The gameplay is so simplified, it's so dumbed down, I often wonder if I'm even playing a damn game. But this is the other extreme. We need to find a middle ground somewhere.
Yeah, I wonder if the complex snowboarding in 06 led Sonic Team to dumbing down the airplane sections in Unleashed. Those were just boring cutscenes where you just press a button.
Hey, those are... Well, sometimes you have to... I got nothing.
Yep, that's the one extreme, but then again, we also have the other extreme. I mean, man, I got bad flashbacks to an older racing game I used to play as a kid. I mean, you have arcade racing games where when you crash, you just get a quick penalty and the game kicks you right back to the game. But then there are those more realistic games
where your car turns into Mr. Magoo ice skating on banana peels as soon as you dare to make a single mistake.
Yep.
Look, this is all new territory and game designers are exploring. It's not working perfect yet, but we're getting there. Look at Let's Plays. As soon as the player has some confidence and experience, those games play like a dream.
It's true that I mostly judge from my initial playthrough rather than one after hours of practice. Of course, that initial playthrough has to be pleasant enough, otherwise no one will bother mastering it, although people are, so I guess it's my problem. Still, nevertheless, this is why I wanted to look at these games, to see what happens when you try to add complex physics into a 3D Sonic game. And I have to admit, it is much more of an enormous joy to control Sonic through these levels, especially in GT, more so than any official Sonic game, so they're onto something here. Sonic really controls very well, and it's fun to move around these levels. I'm just really concerned about level design. When you make Sonic this fast, this powerful, this agile, you lose control as level editor, because a Sonic of this magnitude can barely be contained by any kind of specific level design. And when you try to force complex level design on this Sonic, the fun factor takes a huge dive, as the complex physics makes it very hard to do any precision platforming. As such, you would need to use crutches again, either arcade-style simplification or, like Sonic Team's official games do, rely on 2D gameplay.
Well, have you played Adventure Pack Season 2? That one had much more complicated level design.
Yeah, it looks like a Zelda temple. I love the atmosphere. Look at that water.
It looks very beautiful, incredible graphics. Although yet again, the extreme lighting contrast doesn't make me very happy yet. And the rain drippings across the screen is also not really appreciated in a fast, quick reaction game like Sonic. Nice as it may look. But yeah, looks fantastic. And much more complex level design indeed. But it plays awkward. Besides some more road areas outside, the interior sections of the level miss a sense of direction or flow for me. So much that I sometimes wonder if the levels were even made for a Sonic game, but weren't just literal Zelda levels imported into this engine with some random springs thrown in.
Wow, you're hard to please, huh?
Speaking of Zelda and level design, there's this one fan game, Tails Adventure Armada, apparently trying to be a 3D sequel to the Game Gear title Tails Adventure that was more of an open-ended puzzle game. This new one is an extreme alpha, so there isn't much to say about it yet, but I do want to point out the level design. You start out on the beach, and right from the start you see this big mountain in front of you with all these pathways leading to the top. That's great communication to the player. You immediately get a sense of purpose, direction. I suppose you want to see more like that.
Well, ignoring how extremely alpha the engine still is, the level design is interesting. Yeah, starting on a more neutral empty area with eye-catching towers and roads in the background. Guess it helps with adventure games when environments are more there to tell a story. Hey, this is a beach. Hey, there's a mountain over there. There's a tower over there. Rather than just endless same-looking plains. Guess that's the problem with a fast Sonic. He covers so much ground and environments, it'd be ridiculously hard to keep the environments fresh with new twists, new visual hooks, since that would require an insane amount of resources and assets, and only a complete moron would design a game like that. Which makes me wonder how many other rules I complain about in this video that I'm guilty of myself. But anyway, we'll see how this goes. Still somewhere looks very interesting to me. Yes, it seems to be going more into the slow exploring kind of 3D platformers like the old Rare games, which I'm not a big fan of. But yeah, it's probably not fair to compare this with the fast Sonic levels. It operates on different rules and logic. Hope the end product won't be too confusing with luring the player with too many eye-catching bits.
Well, you can't blame the Tails Adventure game for that. The original was a giant maze, so it's just following in its footsteps.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, Sonic GT, Infinite Engine, Red Ridge, they're all very high-quality, impressive fan games. They put a lot of work into it, and I did enjoy them. They just make me kind of reconsider if this style of gameplay would work for Sonic's future. Although, of course, as fan games in and on themselves, they should be whatever the designers want them to be as individual products. That's the fun of making your own game, after all, to see your own vision on screen. But I'm looking at them specifically with the idea of what would it be if Sonic Team would do something like that, and in that regard, there's a lot to think about. But yeah, let's move on to the next chapter. Luke.
All right. Chapter 3. Boss Fights. No fancy name this time?
I really noticed a huge emphasis on boss fights this year. I was impressed.
Yeah, you didn't put any bosses in your little level pack, did you?
I suck at programming.
It's always fun to see programmers put a fun new twist on bosses. It's incredible that they're still capable of coming up with new bosses we've never seen. I already praised Sonic Quantum for having bosses get visually more damage as the fight goes on. It's all very creative.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Back in the old days, I didn't really care for boss fights, but with all these fan games, they were always my highlights. I guess because there's more of a tight design going on here.
Boy, there was this boss fight in Sonic Stranded that nearly gave me a heart attack. You're playing the game, and suddenly, Giant Metal Sonic!
Sonic games manage to scare you surprisingly often, huh, Luke?
Yeah, ha, funny.
I love that. I love bosses that suddenly create a shift in atmosphere. Oh, now shit's getting real. I also want to bring up Frenzy Adventure again. That managed to have a very involved boss design with some mild puzzle elements. Really recreates that same style of boss fights from Sonic CD and Sonic 3, which I've seen few other fan games try.
I'm so happy they made Knack the Weasel, or Fang the Sniper if you prefer, much more involved in the Sonic Triple Trouble remake. He felt a bit wasted in the original.
Or Snively in the Sonic Saddam-inspired Sonic Transitions. Always fun to utilize the supporting characters for boss fights.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Sonic Transitions. I always wanted to see a Sonic CTM style platformer. That would be great. But yeah, back to bosses. So I said bosses are always a highlight for me. Well, might have been an exception to that. Sonic GT also had boss fights, and this boss fight, I hate it. 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 I hate it.
I hate him! Hate him! Hate, 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 hate!
Well, there goes the optimism again.
Do you know how long I played Sonic GT? 6 hours, out of which 5 hours on this boss, because it goes on and 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 on.
The Sonic GT bosses do indeed overstay their welcome a bit.
See, it has that Sonic Boom Shadow Crystal style difficulty, where something is extremely hard, not because it's actually hard, but because it's incredibly boring. And my brain goes into a goddamn coma when I'm halfway through the boss fight, because it goes on, and it takes nearly half a minute before I can hit it, sometimes twice if I'm really lucky. You know how many hits it takes to take him down? 20? 25? I don't know, I never beat this thing. I just try to hit the damn thing in midair, but I never seem to be able to hit it. During the attack phase, you can only hit it during the specific cooldown moments, not helping that surviving relies on you being incredibly lucky with a finicky physics system, as sometimes you're fighting against it and win is that easy, but sometimes you just get knocked out like a helpless ragdoll, and I hate this boss. And the worst thing of all is, look at him. He doesn't even look like an epic boss. He looks like a Batnik I should be able to kill in one hit, but instead it's the hardest boss I ever faced.
Right. Let's move on to the next topic then. Chapter 4. Better one story from the heart than 10 from the suits.
Oh, we're talking about story? It's surprising how many fan games have cutscenes nowadays. I've seen quite a few, even in their early stage. Guess we've gotten over that only gameplay matters mindset.
Yeah, though most games just being demos, I suppose this chapter will be short. It's usually just an intro we get.
Well, there's a couple things we could highlight. I mean, we have to bring up Sonic 2020. I mean, we didn't really talk about it much in this video because it technically isn't part of Sage 2020. But, man, is it definitely one of the fan games with the most impressive cutscenes. I wouldn't be surprised if they just hired one of those YouTube Sonic animation fan groups for this. I mean, dynamic shots, voice acting, some action to it, very cinematic, little details. It's one of the most impressive ones I've seen. It's incredible cinematic, very impressive. Even though in terms of actual story, I'm not super interested. It's mostly just talking about Gale's Emerald Hunt. It's kind of very dry. Although I prefer dry over the modern Sonic attempts to be funny, so... Whatever. Still, incredible presentation style. And if this is a look into the future, then boy, are we in for a treat. Really wanted to highlight this one because most cutscenes we see in most fan games are considerably more static. Which, I mean, fair enough. They're made by very small teams usually. It just kind of amuses me how stories involving a super fast cartoon character guy are often so stiff. Although my cartoon is kind of stiff, so maybe I shouldn't be talking.
Oof, Sonic 2020. Another fan game we could talk for hours about. With that name, I wonder if they actually expect the game to be finished this year.
Ah yeah, Sonic 2020. Could have talked about that game and its game design too, but again, it's not part of Sage and this video is getting long. Maybe some other time. It kind of deserves its own video. Just saying that, boy, the second level of this pack, the tree stage, is a nightmare. And I never played a Sonic stage that took me 45 minutes to beat before. Well, besides Sonic GT's stupid fucking boss fight!
Anyway, speaking of story, one of the games we mentioned earlier seems to take story elements very seriously. In fact, look at the credits. Our names are right there in the special thanks section. Roger van der Weide and Luke the Fox. Guys, am I not a main character?
Alright, Sonic Stranded, yeah. Ooh, barely talked about this one in this video. But, yeah, it's definitely one of the better cutscenes I've seen in fan games this year.
Of course it is.
Well, hey, if you follow my advice, you're bound to have at least one person liking your story. Me. Don't know about the rest of the world, though.
I didn't even see a cutscene in Sonic Stranded. Where is it?
Huh? Oh, yeah, the Sage 2020 demo doesn't have cutscenes. An earlier demo, when it was called Liquid Survival, did have them.
It has 2 names? As if remembering all these names isn't confusing enough.
Yeah. So, why did I like the cutscenes in Sonic Stranded so much?
Because our name is mentioned and you're vain?
Well, of course. Anyway, yeah, there's a couple small little things I like about it. I mean, just the general pacing is good. It's a nice tempo to the story. I also like how dynamic it is by using flashbacks to punch up some of its scenes and events. It's also one of the few stories that actually has a premise. Not so much story, but an actual premise. Sonic being stranded on an island, rather than just a tactical story about them chasing after Eggman for an item. So there's something a little bit more personal going on. That's kind of more fun. I mean, granted, that premise isn't really highlighted much. I don't recall the game doing all that much with it. But yeah, it's still a demo, so I like how there's a larger theme around it. It's a little more personal, a little less technical, plot heavy.
Although it has nothing to do with...
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. Man, they just do such a great job in imitating modern Sonic storytelling style that I keep forgetting it's a fan game. And what's up with the Sonic Adventure 2 timer ticking down when the cutscenes start? With Sonic Adventure 2, it used to government, military, and science as recurring themes in the story, hence why an official-looking timer thematically works. And Sonic Adventure 2's story actually evolved a strong Doomsday Clock theme, with a bomb on Prison Island ticking down, Eggman's threat to fire the laser, and the colony arc crashing to Earth. There was a lot of time ticking down stuff. This game has none of that.
Rog, it's okay, buddy. Take a deep breath. You have friends who care about you. Not me, but someone, I'm sure. Calm down. It's just a fan game.
Whoops. Yeah. Okay. Lost my mind yet again. This game, it just hits just the right spot in my brain. The wrong spot.
Well, these fan games are all made by small teams. It goes without saying their qualities will be a little unbalanced. And they'll be very high in some regards and a little more clumsy in others. We can still appreciate the work that they put into the cutscenes, getting decent voice actors, nice-looking static character portraits. Either way, stories shouldn't be the highest priority with these games unless they're RPGs or graphic novels.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Anyway, I suppose that ends our discussion for today. I think we talked about all the fan games we wanted to mention.
No, you didn't say anything about Sonic Overload.
No, my computer can't handle it, and when I tone down the graphics, it becomes a horrible, incomprehensible, abstract nightmare, and I get lost in the level design. I can't really play this, sorry.
Well, I think it looks very promising. Add some fluid but challenging level design, and it could easily be the basis for the next Sonic Unleashed.
Sure.
There's also Virtua Sonic, the virtual reality Sonic game. You like 3D games for their immersion, right? So why aren't you playing the virtual reality game for maximum immersion?
Because money doesn't grow on my back. Do you know how expensive that fancy stuff is?
Not to worry, friends. I have access to an Oculus Quest. I'll let you borrow it, but first I'll give my thoughts on the game. Come along! See, Virtua Sonic is really neat. I doubted that Sonic could even work in VR, but the developers have actually managed to pull it off expertly. Now, I don't think it's perfect, and I'm having some slight technical difficulties, but those seem to be on my end.
Well, keep your slight technical difficulties on your end. Stop pestering me with them.
I sometimes have a great deal of trouble jumping, and even more so pulling off reliable homing attacks, but that may just be the VR system I'm using. Also, turning with the joysticks isn't great since it always turns you 180 degrees. So if you need to make a 90-degree turn, you have to physically turn yourself, which can get you a bit tangled up if your VR system has wires, which most do.
It could get your friends and enemies tangled up in your wires too, as demonstrated here. Keep your stupid virtual garbage away from me.
I think if there was options to allow turning via the joystick and maybe buttons for jumping and homing attacks, this would be just about perfect. For now, we'll just have to manage with more unreliable control. So, who wants to play next? Oh. Yeah, it is perfectly normal to get a little motion sickness with virtual reality, but usually you have to be wearing it first. Oh well, I suppose I get to do the outro once again. Goodbye, friends! Let us know in the comments if we missed out on some great fan games. Happy gaming!